I'm Kevin Stevens, a native Pensacolian, husband, father, and U.S. Navy veteran. But that's not what this is about. I'm a local businessman who has owned many successful companies over the years.
But it's not about this either.
Recently, I ran for public office and was elected to a seat on the ECUA Board of Commissioners.
So what's this about? It's about an elected official who will serve his community and hold his fellow elected officials accountable.
All while making local government more transparent. Join me in making Pensacola a better place to live, work, and play.
Welcome to another episode of On the Board with Kevin Stevens. Today I've got my guest and friend, Mr. Scott Luth with the Florida West Economic Development Alliance.
Great.
Welcome, Scott.
Yeah, Kevin, glad to be here. I tell you what, there's just so many things happening, and to have a chance to come and visit with you for a little while is it's a great way to start my morning. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time. Like I said, you're an early riser like myself, so 2 cups of coffee and ready to go.
That's right.
Today, what we're going to talk about is some of the economic development and not just in Escambia County, but more specifically in the north end of the county with the Bluffs project. But first,
Sure.
I'd like you to tell us a little bit about Florida West, what you do there, what their mission is, and really the positive impact that a lot of folks quite honestly don't know about that your organization has on Escambia County as a whole.
Sure, be happy to. So Florida West is it's the city and county and the community's economic development agency. The big difference between, I must take a step back. We were actually all part of the Chamber of Commerce. Probably, I guess, going to go on 7-8 years now, and so we're all part of one organization. The Chamber of Commerce basically divested itself of all public money. Okay. And tourism spun out as a standalone tourism entity, and then economic development spun out of the Chamber of Commerce, and we created Florida West. So that's a little bit of its history and where we came from. And the big difference between what we do at Florida West and the Chamber of Commerce is kind of focused on those companies that live in the community and live off of the community. Such as all our restaurants, your car dealerships, your doctor's offices. They're all selling goods and services internally.
So local.
Correct. Yeah, pretty much the local market. What Florida West and its entire mission is: how do we grow the economy? How do we generate wealth? And the way we do that is every company that we work with, and I'll go into some of our different divisions later, but what they all have in common is each one of those, the majority of their products and services are sold outside the region. Okay. And so what they do then is they actually bring in money. So if you're selling your products outside, you're bringing in money, they're employing people here, they're buying goods and services from our community, and that's really what we do. We focus on that. How do we make that pie bigger? How do we increase the wealth of the community? And that's really what Florida West is focused on.
Okay, yeah, and that's significant, because myself being a parent and a father of two, I would love to have the high-paying jobs, your technical jobs, whatever the case may be, to actually have my children have an opportunity to come back here. I can know, speaking from my wife, our kids will be living with us until they're 40.
Exactly.
But at the same time, having those opportunities, and I think, and I don't just hear that in District 5. I hear that countywide is we lack some high-paying jobs here, some of the technical jobs, and so how do we get that? How do we bring in those industry groups? So it sounds like that's basically what you guys are doing. Is you guys are putting Pensacola on the map. You're basically advertising and promoting Pensacola businesses and trying to bring outside industry to our town in hopes of generating some of those good, high-paying jobs.
Yeah, it is, and it's obviously it's very rewarding, very challenging. And the other thing is, all of the companies that we work with don't have to be here, and that's the big part of it too. They're all competitive. No matter what size a company it is, they could live anywhere. They could live in Dallas or Chicago, or we compete against those places. Obviously, we compete against Georgia and Mississippi, and and Alabama and Texas are some of our competitors for a lot of our projects. And so that's the other thing that differentiates kind of the focus that we have, is making sure that you're right, that we're top of mind. That we go through a selection process, and that even goes to our expanding companies. Our expanding companies in the community also have a choice. They can either expand in our community if things are going well, or they may decide to go someplace else and expand there. And so a big part of what we do is not only try to get new companies to come, but we really support our existing industry as well.
Right. Like I said, and again, focusing, bringing, taking care of the larger industries, continuing that growth here, as well as bringing in new industries. So I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about that and some of the companies that you're currently working with, and maybe kind of give us a little insight on perhaps who we're soliciting.
Sure.
We'll be right back after a short commercial break.
Extreme Pumping and Septic. Septic system services, lift station services, storm drain jetting, grease trap cleaning, and more. Extreme Pumping and Septic is your portable toilet rental headquarters for Baldwin, Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa. Got an extreme emergency? Extreme Pumping and Septic has 24/7 emergency services 7 days a week. Extreme Pumping and Septic is the only septic company in our area with financing options. Call now or book online at extremepumpingandseptic.net.
Hi, I'm Sean McCorkle with Genesis Land and Title. What makes a great title company? Forbes magazine says that a good title company does two things well. They coordinate the transaction efficiently and they provide remarkable customer service. There are few things worse than poor customer service when you are spending your hard-earned money. Our professional and friendly team will go above and beyond to ensure that your closing experience is as pleasant and stress-free as possible.
At Florida Insurance Agency, we have enough available resources to insure just about anything in Florida at the best rates. With dozens of companies to choose from, you don't just get a policy, you get the best policy for you. That means savings and comfort, knowing you are covered. We're only a local phone call away, and you can stop by any of our 3 offices anytime for assistance. Florida Insurance Agency. Our policy is great service.
YNG Global provides intense real-world combat training for individuals and teams. Our firearms training includes concealed carry, pistol, rifle, and advanced weapons and tactics. Our medical training involves evidence-based life-saving techniques, and our close protection services provide safe, controlled, monitored movement for personnel and executives. We're the only tactile pistol and carbine training facility in the Panhandle. Get the best at 850-380-1085.
Welcome back to On the Board with Kevin Stevens. So before we left, we were just talking to Scott here about some of the companies, some of the industries that Florida West has been responsible for bringing in. Maybe a little bit more detail on some of those specifics, and then just I know generic. I know you can't give us specifics until the contract's inked, but maybe just some of the industry groups that Florida West is in talks with right now, and just some of your thoughts on that.
Sure, yeah, I'd be happy to. One of the things, people ask us all the time is, well, is that all you do is try to bring companies to town? And that is a part of what we do, but it's probably about 25%. So we actually run and manage the Community Small Business Incubator. But all of those companies have that same thing in common, is we're trying to actually help them expand and accelerate their growth so they are continuing to have that market outside. And so we've got around 8 to 10 companies that we're currently working with, and they're across the board. They're everything from marketing companies that are doing unique things. We have a lot of tech-based companies that are actually co-located in an incubator working together. And so that's a great place for startup companies to come together, and we're very excited about that, and we see a tremendous amount of growth with that. And you kind of move out from our small startup companies and kind of back into our to our existing industries. We've got a lot of existing industry expansion, and it is true. Half of what we do is to support our existing industry expansions, and so they're either bringing in new equipment, they're adding employment, they're really seeing growth. And I will say, probably over the last 3 or 4 years, we've seen a tremendous uptick, both in existing industry expansion projects as well as new companies looking to come into this area. And it's been across the board. When you look at our primary industry sectors, which obviously has been aviation. The ST engineering project is, probably one of the longest projects I've worked. I started that project 10, 11 years ago with the city of Pensacola.
And you can see that expansion at the airport now.
And just continues to grow. And you're right, Kevin. And and of course, again, what that means is that's going to be, once they're at full build out, that's going to be 2,800 new jobs. When you look at direct employment.
And good paying jobs. Very, very competitive, very competitive jobs.
Right, and as well as supporting jobs. And of course, again, that all those folks that come in or stay here in the community, more importantly, they're going to be looking at housing, they're going to be looking at apartments, they're going to look at cars. All the things that those citizens will buy that are actually going to work for this international company. So that's aviation's a big part of that. When you look at the region, my counterpart, even over in Santa Rosa County, just landed Leonardo coming in, so another aviation project for the community. Another thing that we're seeing a lot of growth in is our cybersecurity. And so we've seen a lot of DoD contractors coming in. We're seeing satellites out of basically out of Huntsville that are coming here, companies that are coming here now out of Washington D.C. that are putting locations here in the Pensacola, Escambia County region, which has been tremendous.
And it certainly doesn't hurt, when you've got Bezos, launching rockets, off our coast. I'll tell you, just to watch, Pensacola and our area, on the world stage, really. Watching these come in, and and it's just like I said, it's absolutely phenomenal.
Being that splashdown is amazing. And then of course, again, we got Blue Origin. The vessel that that they're going to land the rocket ships on. The New Glenn rocket's going to land on a vessel that's actually manufactured and put together here in Escambia County. And so those things are just exciting for the community. And really our kind of bread and butter though, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, and that's kind of our heavier manufacturing, which is so important not only to the economy, but the things that we're really trying to set the stage for.
Well, that's going to be something I definitely want to talk about right after our break, is some of the heavy industries. And fingers crossed, maybe we'll be the next Space Coast.
That's our goal.
Here in Pensacola. So stay tuned. We'll be right back and run over some additional information on the expansion of Pensacola and where we're looking at going as a community.
Extreme Fleet Maintenance is a complete hydraulic and diesel servicing company for the Gulf Coast region, specializing in Ford Power Stroke, Dodge Cummins, Chevy Duramax, and all diesel. We work on light and heavy-duty vehicles, forklifts, hydraulics, generators, warehouse, and farm equipment. Our emergency services are 24/7. When you need us, we are there. Call us at 850-972-8087.
At Florida Insurance Agency, we have enough available resources to insure just about anything in Florida at the best rates. With dozens of companies to choose from, you don't just get a policy, you get the best policy for you. That means savings and comfort, knowing you are covered. We're only a local phone call away, and you can stop by any of our 3 offices anytime for assistance. Florida Insurance Agency. Our policy is great service.
YNG Global provides intense real-world combat training for individuals and teams. Our firearms training includes concealed carry, pistol, rifle, and advanced weapons and tactics. Our medical training involves evidence-based life-saving techniques, and our close protection services provide safe, controlled, monitored movement for personnel and executives. We're the only tactile pistol and carbine training facility in the Panhandle. Get the best at 850-380-1085.
Hi, I'm Sean McCorkle with Genesis Land and Title. What makes a great title company? Forbes magazine says that a good title company does 2 things well. They coordinate the transaction efficiently, and they provide remarkable customer service. There are few things worse than poor customer service when you are spending your hard-earned money. Our professional and friendly team will go above and beyond to ensure that your closing experience is as pleasant and stress-free as possible.
Welcome back to On the Board with Kevin Stevens. So when we left off, we were just kind of zeroing in on some of the economic development for Escambia County, past projects and successes with your organization, which have been huge. Talking about the aircraft and aerospace and some of that industry that we've brought in and looking to continue to bring in. So what I'd like to do now, Scott, is kind of talk about a region near and dear to my heart, which is District 5 in the north end. And I know we've got a lot of growth up there. I know on the ECUA end, we've got quite a few projects that have been submitted to us, as well as several subdivisions and developments that have been submitted that we're reviewing right now for feasibilities. But tell us a little bit about what you all have got going on in the north end.
What's great about Escambia County, and from our perspective, which is to make sure that we have enough assets and a diversity of assets to support all different kinds of industry. And so obviously with the Port of Pensacola, the airport, the downtown with some of our cybersecurity, and you kind of look at the rest of our community, which is sort of north of the interstate, we've got some great assets that are up there. And so we got a couple of commerce parks that are there. We got the Central Commerce Park that we have property in. We've been very successful with that. I mean, we had Webb Electric. I mean, went in there and bought 3 lots and expanded his company, in that park over the last year. A couple other companies that are continuing to see expansion in there. We've got a phase 2 that we've actually pitched to a couple different companies that were large kind of warehouse and distribution companies. And again, the projects that we work on, we may pitch a site 4 or 5 times before we find the right match. And so even though those companies didn't select it, we got that site in front of those companies. And so when they come back, hopefully we'll begin to move that. There's a really good kind of agricultural-based company up in Century that bought the Alger Sullivan lumber field back up there.
I'm familiar with that.
Completely have cleaned that site up. We're a little bit still
remediation.
Remediation, and they're setting the stage for a really nice production facility up there. And so we're very excited about that. We're seeing that move. And then we have the Bluffs, and the Bluffs is a project that we've been really focused on since I've been here for the last 10 years. And so it's 3,000 acres total. All around the ECUA plant, Ascend Manufacturing, the Gulf Power Generation facility that's up in that area. And obviously the amount of infrastructure, I mean, we have almost, I'd say, several $1 billion worth of infrastructure in the ground already to support already companies that are there, your International Paper, your Ascend, your Exxon, obviously ECUA that's up there with those amenities. And so working with all of our partners, we're beginning to kind of market the excess property or property that potentially could be excess. We've had 4 different companies come in and look. And these are obviously very energy intensive companies. They need rail. They need a lot of electricity. They need a lot of reuse water.
Right.
And those are the types of companies that we want to bring to this site.
And it's ready. I mean, like I said, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, having our plant up there, a state-of-the-art facility up there to accommodate almost unlimited growth up there. It is, like I said, is huge. And that's 2/3 of it. And currently being underutilized. I was telling you before the show that a lot of folks I know in my area aren't familiar with the Bluffs project, the specifics of the Bluffs project, and quite frankly the enormity of it. And I understand we're going to be doing that or looking to do that in various phases.
Correct.
So when we come back, after a short commercial break, I'd like to talk a little bit more about that, get a little bit more specifics on the Bluffs and what we're looking at doing with that. So stay tuned. We'll be right back and we'll go from there.
Extreme Fleet Maintenance is a complete hydraulic and diesel servicing company for the Gulf Coast region, specializing in Ford Power Stroke, Dodge Cummins, Chevy Duramax, and all diesel. We work on light and heavy-duty vehicles, forklifts, hydraulics, generators, warehouse, and farm equipment. Our emergency services are 24/7. When you need us, we are there. Call us at 850-972-8087.
At Florida Insurance Agency, we have enough available resources to insure just about anything in Florida at the best rates. With dozens of companies to choose from, you don't just get a policy, you get the best policy for you. That means savings and comfort, knowing you are covered. We're only a local phone call away, and you can stop by any of our 3 offices anytime for assistance. Florida Insurance Agency. Our policy is great service.
YNG Global provides intense real-world combat training for individuals and teams. Our firearms training includes concealed carry, pistol, rifle, and advanced weapons and tactics. Our medical training involves evidence-based life-saving techniques, and our close protection services provide safe, controlled, monitored movement for personnel and executives. We're the only tactile pistol and carbine training facility in the Panhandle. Get the best at 850-380-1085.
Extreme Pumping and Septic. Septic system services, lift station services, storm drain jetting, grease trap cleaning, and more. Extreme Pumping and Septic is your portable toilet rental headquarters for Baldwin, Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa. Got an extreme emergency? Extreme Pumping and Septic has 24/7 emergency services 7 days a week. Extreme Pumping and Septic is the only septic company in our area with financing options. Call now or book online at extremepumpingandseptic.net.
So welcome back to On Board with Kevin Stevens. So before we left off, we were talking about the industries and some of the jobs and some of the opportunities in the north end of the county. And we were starting Century, and we were kind of working our way back to the Bluffs project. So if you would tell us a little bit more about the Bluffs, and of course we're going to put up a couple slides for folks to actually have them. I'm a visual learner myself, so actually have them see what some of the proposals would look like, and more the specifics on what that project, timelines for that, and so forth.
Yeah, we started working on the Bluffs project, I guess 7-8 years ago, and we took the entire study area, which is about 6,000 acres, and it went all the way from the ECUA facility all the way down to UWF.
Okay.
And so we wanted to assess and just sort of see, what's the lay of the land, what the partners might be. And so between, obviously, with the university being sort of the southern end of that area, of course, that's all our intellectual capital down there.
Sure.
You have the Gulf Power Generation Facility, huge, right there. So you've got the easy access to plenty of electricity that's there. You have Ascend Manufacturing, which has a lot of synergies that people don't realize. Because again, with the amount of inbound material that they bring in through rail and their outbound resources, there's a lot of opportunities for other companies to partner with them. They also produce a lot of steam. Sure. And so between some of their byproducts, between the products that they make, and then of course ECUA being
you've
there.
got the infrastructure there.
Infrastructure
you've got rail.
Just huge.
You've got rail. You've got the sewer treatment plant.
Yeah, and so with all of those investments that that ECUA's made and everybody else has made in that area, well, how do we capitalize on that? And so there's about 3,000. So you have 6,000 study area, about 3,000 give or take acres of upland or usable property. And we broke the whole thing into 4 different sections. And so we have 4 different sections of the Bluffs, which are on our map. And in each one of those sections can kind of accommodate different types of industries of different size, based on the wetlands and things that are there. But the thing about the Bluffs too is we wanted to make sure that when we did our assessment, we wanted to not try to push the environment out, but actually work within the environment that's there. And so we have all the protections. We want to make sure that we have all the assets that are there.
Well, just protecting our natural environment.
So much.
That's
that's your cornerstone.
Sure.
And really in the sustainability plans that our industry looks for nowadays, what a great match. And of course with our new power company, with Florida Power and Light, their investment in solar energy, it really makes for not only just heavy industry, but it's heavy industry that's environmentally sensitive. And so those are the types of companies we want. We've been very successful. We've had actually 5 or 6 companies look at the site. To date, we've not landed them, but some of them they've been too big for the site. I'll be honest with you. We had one that needed almost 500 acres usable in one big block. Love to have had it.
Sure.
Where we are working a second one that's about half that size. And so we're hopeful that we may, see something come about it, with this. But these companies that we're working with, again, they are heavy type manufacturing. They're going to employ anywhere from 300 to 500 employees each, with an average wage of probably somewhere between $60,000 and $75,000 for each one of those jobs. And so that's exactly what we want.
Folks, that's transformational. Yeah. I mean, especially for District 5, for that north end of the county, for surrounding areas, ancillary businesses. That is transformational. Yeah. That's the type of jobs, that's the type of industries that are going to keep our young folks here, as well as attract, top talent. So, like I said, I appreciate you giving us a little bit more specificity on the Bluffs and what that's going to do. So when we come back, we'll just talk about some additional, I want to kind of pick your brain a little bit on some additional projects going out there, and then kind of share with you on some of the projects that ECUA has got on our drawing board as well. So stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Sean McCorkle with Genesis Land and Title. What makes a great title company? Forbes magazine says that a good title company does 2 things well. They coordinate the transaction efficiently and they provide remarkable customer service. There are few things worse than poor customer service when you are spending your hard-earned money. Our professional and friendly team will go above and beyond to ensure that your closing experience is as pleasant and stress-free as possible.
Extreme Pumping and Septic. Septic system services, lift station services, storm drain jetting, grease trap cleaning, and more. Extreme Pumping and Septic is your portable toilet rental headquarters for Baldwin, Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa. Got an extreme emergency? Extreme Pumping and Septic has 24/7 emergency services 7 days a week. Extreme Pumping and Septic is the only septic company in our area with financing options. Call now or book online at extremepumpingandseptic.net.
Extreme Fleet Maintenance is a complete hydraulic and diesel servicing company for the Gulf Coast region, specializing in Ford Power Stroke, Dodge Cummins, Chevy Duramax, and all diesel. We work on light and heavy-duty vehicles, forklifts, hydraulics, generators, warehouse, and farm equipment. Our emergency services are 24/7. When you need us, we are there. Call us at 850-972-8087.
So welcome back to On the Board with Kevin Stevens. So before we left, we were just following up with Scott, and I appreciate the information on the Bluffs project, which is it's going to be huge. It's truly going to be a transformational project. Obviously, this is a multi-year project throughout District 5, but the amount of high-paying jobs is going to be tremendous. And again, it's keeping folks here, it's bringing some folks back, and that's what it's really all about. I mean, for parents, for business owners to actually have that opportunity for our young people to have a great career in their hometown. You know, speaking of that, and we talked about that, my last CAC, Citizens Advisory Committee meeting, we were going over proposed projects at ECUA. And I remember looking at the board last week, and I'm looking at, six subdivisions that we're looking at being permitted there right now. Off the top of my head, I could recall 4 of them.
Right.
So we've added 2 additional ones. And then I'm looking at the second section of the slide at our meeting, and I'm seeing 5 or 6 additional proposed subdivisions. So the growth in the north end of the county is tremendous. And I always tell folks, it's really the largest district landmass than the other 4, and so that's where everybody's going. Back in the day they'd say go west, young man, go west, and now they're saying go north. And because you've got so much opportunity there. But what's critical, I tell folks, what's mission critical is to have the infrastructure in place. And I can remember going back a year ago, it doesn't seem like it's been a year since I've been on the board, and I'm campaigning for this seat. I can remember seeing the gas being run up there, and I just remember all the mobilization. Being in the construction industry myself with heavy equipment, I was like, wow, the amount of money with the mobilization and the trenching for this pipe. I thought, what a great opportunity to run some sewer pipes. So again, missed opportunity there. I understand it's easier said than done. You've got federal, you've got state, you've got a lot of organizations working together to facilitate that. But that's something that I'll be working real closely with my partners on the county commission next year and going forward, is how we bring ECUA resources, county resources, working together, kind of combining. Because again, one is too small a number for greatness.
Oh, I know.
So we've got our budget, they've got their budget. We're hopefully to get some additional state funds matching and really take advantage of opportunities as they present themselves. A lot of times I'll get probably 6 to 8 calls a week from my constituents in District 5 wondering when we're going to get sewer. Right? Like, Mr. Stevens, I live at XYZ subdivision, when can we expect some sewer? And so it's very important that as we start looking at these industry groups, the industrial aspect of it, as well as these neighborhoods, where in conjunction are they to our sewer plant, and how we overlay these various subdivisions to sit there and be smart about it when we're running that 4-inch pipe. Hey, let's go ahead and co-op some additional funds and get a 6-inch pipe. That way I can tie in this subdivision, that subdivision. So again, it's just forward thinking, and that's what we've got to be able to do going forward, because then we have the opportunities not only just for the additional subdivisions that we're adding, but also the existing ones.
Yep.
So again, I wish we had more time, because I feel like we got a lot to talk about. We just kind of scratched the proverbial surface right now, but I appreciate you, and I certainly would like to have you back on the show again. Sure.
Be happy to do it anytime, Kevin. Really, real quick before you sign off, I just want to tell again, yourself and the county, it's tremendous to work with the community and the way that you guys are doing the things that you're doing, because again, if we weren't doing it, we wouldn't see the growth. And so I just encourage y'all to keep working together, keep growing this community collectively, everybody, and it's just going to continue to pay dividends. There's so much opportunity out there.
Oh, 100%.
It's just so exciting.
And again,
right now.
it's just organizations working together, right?
Yeah, it
Not
really
being honored
is.
to ourselves, but working together, reaching across the aisle. Again, we've all got something to offer, and we're all in this together.
Most
And
definitely.
It's our community. It's our home. It's where we live. It's where we worship. Thank you again
Of
so
course.
much, Scott,
Happy to
for
do it.
joining me. Thank you, folks, and Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, and I look forward to a very prosperous 2022. God bless, and have a great day.